Hello everyone, apa kabar? Welcome to my channel, Login Malaysia. Here, I talk about the real pressures people face in Malaysia, stagnant income, rising living costs, and how we can use economics and investment strategies to actually improve our quality of life. If, like me, you're working hard not just to survive but to live better, make sure to follow the channel. Today, we're focusing on how Sharia-compliant stocks and ETFs actually work in Malaysia, why they can reduce common investment risks, and how you can realistically use them to deal with rising living costs instead of relying only on savings or safe assets. In Malaysia, 65% of Muslims say they prefer Sharia compliant products, but in reality, only 47% actually invest their money. That's a harsh truth. If your money stays stuck in this contradiction, you cannot solve the problem of rising living costs. Most people are still trapped in an old mindset, trusting only gold, ASB, or Tabung Haji as safe havens. But let's be honest with each other, in an era where costs are exploding, being overly conservative can sometimes be the biggest risk. By continuously ignoring Sharia stocks and ETFs, we are effectively walking away from tools that history has already proven can deliver significantly higher returns than traditional options. I know many of you feel hesitant because it sounds complex, risky, or you're unsure what truly qualifies as halal. But the reality is this: with today's technology and transparency, investing Sharia compliantly is easier than ever. Malaysia is not behind the curve. We are actually a global leader in Islamic finance. In Bursa, Malaysia alone, more than 850 companies have already passed Sharia screening, making up about 80% of the entire market. This is a massive economic system, and I don't want you to miss a real opportunity to improve your quality of life simply because of an information gap. The first thing we need to understand is this: for a stock to enter the halal list, it must pass three extremely strict layers of screening set by the Sharia Advisory Council. This alone already creates a strong foundation of safety for investors. These rules are not designed to limit your upside, they are meant to filter out exactly the risks most people are afraid of: problematic industries, companies overloaded with debt, or businesses that rely on speculation and interest-based income to look profitable. In other words, before you even invest a single ringgit, a large portion of the risk has already been filtered out for you, significantly reducing the chance of costly mistakes. These three layers are business activity screening, financial screening, and qualitative screening. Let's go through them one by one. Level 1 is business activity screening. There is absolutely no involvement in harmful sectors like traditional banking, earning interest, gambling, alcohol, pork, or tobacco. There is a rule called the 5% benchmark, which means income from these unclean sources must not exceed 5% of total revenue. For example, Apple mainly sells iPhones but still has a small portion of interest income from banks. If that figure is below 5%, they still pass this filter. Level 2 is financial screening. This is where many companies fail. Sharia rules require that interest-bearing debt and cash placed in traditional banks must be less than 33% of total assets. This is actually an excellent way to manage risk because it forces you to choose companies with healthy financial structures and low debt. The final level is qualitative screening. Even if the numbers are beautiful, if the company's reputation goes against Islamic ethics, the SC will still exclude them from the list. This process is reviewed twice a year in May and November, so the transparency is very high. If you are a beginner and find tracking individual stocks too exhausting, I suggest focusing on ETFs. Instead of buying 10 or 20 individual companies, you buy a basket of stocks operated by professional fund managers. In Malaysia, there are currently 7 prominent halal ETFs that cover almost every strategic need. For local market exposure, you have the EQ8 MSCI Malaysia Islamic Dividend, EQ8 MED for steady Sharia compliant dividend focus, or the EQ8 Dow Jones Islamic Market Malaysia Titans 25, EQ8 MY25. If you want broader exposure to the largest Sharia compliant companies on Bursa Malaysia to expand into the region, you can look at the EQ8 MSCI SCI Islamic Dividend, EQ8 SID, or capture China's growth with the VPDJ Sharia China A-Shares 100, CA China 100, MYR. If your vision is global, the EQ8 Dow Jones US Titans 50, EQ8 US 50 is your gateway to 50 US tech giants like Nvidia and Microsoft. For a more defensive or ethical play, you can choose the Trade Plus Sharia Gold Tracker Gold Debt to track gold prices efficiently, or the EQ8 FTSE Malaysia Enhanced Dividend WAKFOF, EQ8 WAQF, which includes a charitable element. The best part of an ETF is automation. When a company in the basket loses its Sharia status, the fund manager will automatically sell and replace it for you. You do not need to stay up at night monitoring the SC list. You just focus on growing your assets most efficiently. Whereas ETFs often have high liquidity and more stable returns due to the growth nature of global tech companies. What happens if a stock you hold suddenly gets removed from the Sharia list overnight? Do not panic, the rules are very clear. If you are making a profit at that time, you are required to sell immediately to preserve the halal status. But if you are at a loss, Sharia allows you to hold that stock until the market value plus dividends reaches your original break-even point before you have to sell. You are not forced to take a loss due to these changes. Finally, there is the principle of purification. Since we accept the 5% tolerance threshold, you should take 5% of the dividends received to donate to charity to keep your cash flow completely clean. This is how we maintain integrity in investing, ensuring every dollar of profit brought home is fully deserved according to our values. Sharia investing is not just a religious story, it is an investment mindset that is disciplined, ethical, and highly scientific. Do not let your money sit still and be eroded by inflation. Take advantage of Malaysia's strong Islamic financial ecosystem to build a prosperous future. If you're interested in knowing more about Sharia stock or ETF, you can click the link in my bio to discuss further. And hit the like and follow button. See you next time.